Anything that moves between these lines, got to get dealt with.
10, 5, and he streaks in. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5, to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Sun has set on week 6 of the NFL season, and it's a day the Cowboys are going to want to forget. Carolina, the Panthers, take down the Dallas Cowboys 30-27, the final score, and the Cowboys give up over 400 yards of total offense, including 200 yards rushing in the loss to Carolina. Welcome in to Cowboys Game Night here from the Globe Live studios at the Star in Frisco. Thanks for staying up with us. Alongside Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Youmans. And Isaiah, this is a game, like I said, the Cowboys are going to want to forget. Rico Dowdle said earlier in the week, he said they're going to need to buckle up, buckle those chin straps. They know what's coming. They still weren't able to stop it, and he ended up having a career day. The Cowboys had an opportunity, but a game-winning field goal closes the deal for the Panthers.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys were not able to buckle up. Obviously, after seeing the film last week of Rico Dowdle, he had over 200 yards on the ground last week, and that's why in the post-game interview coming into the Dallas game, he said the Dallas Cowboys know what to expect out of me. They better buckle up. They didn't do so. They gave him 183 yards on the ground. He had over 200 yards total offense when you factor in the receptions, even with him having a receiving touchdown. He took care of business offensively. The Dallas Cowboys were ineffective in being able to run the ball on the ground. Dak had a day. George Pickens had a day. The defense did not.
Yeah, and let's talk about it. Let's go into the highlights and see what happened in this one. The Cowboys taking on the Panthers. They needed an opportunity early after both teams traded field goals. They got that opportunity from the defense. A tipped pass picked off by Donovan Wilson, his second interception of the year, and he puts Dallas in the red zone early. First play of the second quarter, Dak fakes the pitch to Javonte Williams, turns around, finds Hunter Lipke, his first professional touchdown, and that would put Dallas up 10-7. Carolina would answer. Took them just 6 plays to find Teteroa McMillan in the end zone for his first touchdown as a professional. This one tied back up at 10. Next drive for Dallas, Jake Ferguson. He's just showing off. The seam gets it done. He reels in his 4th touchdown in the last 3 games. Dallas had the lead at the break, up by 4. 4 plays into the second half, though. Rico Dowdle, he works open on the wheel route, wide open, catches it at the 10, just has to win the race to the pylon. He does. Carolina back on top, but not for long. Dak Prescott finds George Pickens, who hits the open space, turns on the Jets, and he scores his career-high 6th touchdown of the year. Going into the fourth quarter, Dallas up by 4, but early in the frame, Carolina would retake the lead at 27-24. Cowboys kick a field goal to tie it up at 27. Final drive for Carolina. 4th down, doesn't matter. They find Hunter Renfrow, they convert, and then Rico Dowdle gets the Panthers into field goal range, where Ryan Fitzgerald sets up a 33-yard field goal from the right hash mark, and he drills it. That's your ball game, everybody. 30-27. Rico Dowdle over 200 all-purpose yards for the second straight week. First undrafted player since the NFL merger in 1970 to achieve it in back-to-back games. As the Cowboys fall 30-27, your final stats are brought to you by Miller Lite. Like I said earlier, the Cowboys giving up over 400 yards of total offense, 27 first downs, and 14 of those were via the ground game. 14 of 27 first downs on the ground. The Cowboys had just 2 rushing first downs in the matchup. When we come back, we're going to go to the film room to talk about what's happening in this football game, how the Cowboys fell in this one to Carolina.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Fans at home are just asking the question, what the heck went wrong with the Dallas Cowboys and what they were doing in this game against the Carolina Panthers? 30-27, the final score. Well, good news for you. We have a Super Bowl champion that has been there, done that, and knows how to break down the film. So let's start with a couple of these bad plays defensively. Let's start with the run plays that happened early and the touchdown play as well. Where do you want to start? Rico Dowdle, how did he have so much success against this Cowboys defense?
Well, Rico obviously did a good job on the ground, but David Canales, the head coach for the Carolina Panthers, is an offensive-minded coach, and he knew exactly what the defense was presenting, and because of that, he was able to script up some nice little plays to take full advantage of that. Let's take a look at this first play. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be what we call cover 3, okay? Deron Bland's in 1/3. We have a safety back here in a third, and we have Trayvon Diggs in a third, okay? That's their responsibilities. These linebackers are now playing four guys are going to be playing underneath coverage, okay? That's their responsibility. Now, Dave Canales understands that, so what is he going to do? He's going to flood these zones. So he's going to take his Ted McMillan right here. He's going to run him up here and hook him up in the middle. That puts a lot of demand on multiple guys. You have Deron Bland has to be responsible. You have Maris Leafau has to be responsible. So he said, okay, how else can I affect this? Well, he's going to take somebody and he's going to run them across, okay, or back here on the backside. He's going to put stress not only on our free safety back here, but also on Deron Bland. He's splitting these guys' zone, okay, and then he's going to sneak somebody else out here to the underneath flat route, okay, again, putting stress on who? Deron Bland and Maris Leafau. And then when you're worried about that, who do you sneak out? You got to worry about good old Rico is going to come to that same exact zone. It puts our man Deron Bland in no man's land, puts our safety in a very stressful position, and you're going to see it play out as we hit this play button right here. This is how you overload a zone. There was absolutely nothing that the defense could have done any better on this play. This is just one play caller understanding what the defense is going to be proposing and drawing up the perfect play because he had the answers to the test.
And whenever you're a linebacker and you're a corner and you're looking at these different levels, you're trying not to pass up what's in front of you, but you also, in doing so, trust that somebody's over the top. If that person over the top is stressed out about a different zone, then all of a sudden you're in no man's land, and that's exactly what happened in this matchup. Now, it wasn't just the passing attack that Rico Dowdle attributed to. He had the 180-plus yards on the ground as well. How were they able to run the ball so effectively with him? Yeah,
I can tell you guys right off the bat, okay, this man, I hate to point out people, but this is the film. This is going to be Marshawn Nealon's first week back, okay, from injury. You're going to see him there. He cannot get reached. He actually is outside, okay? We talk about this. He actually has outside containment on this in man on the line of scrimmage. But somehow, some way, he allows the offensive lineman or tight end right there to go ahead and reach him. Once he's able to get that reach block, now we're off and running. So you guys are going to see it play out. Boom, right there, pause it right there. As soon as they're able to get this seal on Marshawn Nealon, now you're bringing a man around. He can either kick out or he can kick right here, and you're going to see Rico Dowdle now is going to be able to get to the edge, play it through. Bow, pause it right there. Now these blocks are being had. Kick out, everybody's down blocked. He has a block on Marshawn Nealon, running him out the club, and now Rico Dowdle can go this way, he can go that way. He has options, and when he has options, he's able to run the ball unimpeded for 12 yards. Easy yards for Rico. That's the reason why he had 183 yards. We gave up the edge too often in this game, and the linemen were getting pushed back. When that happens, you don't stand a chance.
And it's the second straight week they've allowed at least 6 yards per carry from the lead back. It was Breece Hall in week 5. Now it's Rico Dowdle in week 6. When we come back, what did Brian Schottenheimer have to say about the 30-27 loss as he goes to the podium following the Cowboys' loss here in week 6 to the Carolina Panthers?
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Thank you. Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Why do you think he has so many problems against the run today?
I want to look at it. They controlled the game, on both sides, and you got to give them credit for that. We knew they were a physical football team. We weren't surprised by that, but they were able to run it, and we weren't. And this is a game where you got to win the line of scrimmage, and we didn't win the line of scrimmage today. I told the team that. It's disappointing, but I got to give them a lot of credit. They ran hard, they blocked well, and we have to be better. And we'll look at it and we'll get it fixed.
Do you believe you have the personnel to work with Fluce's scheme?
Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. We got to coach better, we got to play better. The physicality of it all. We're a physical football team. We didn't show it today. Give them credit. and we have to be better. And it's not just the defense; it was the offense. Yeah, we threw the ball all over the yard, and that was great. But at the end of the day, we want to be balanced, and we weren't able to do that today. And we got to look at that as an offensive staff and see what they did to stop the run.
All right, so DLLS Cowboys, how demoralizing is it as a play call offense when you have to be perfect? You can't blink.
I don't look at it that way. You're just playing the game. Hey, our defense made some big stops in the fourth quarter. We weren't able to punch the ball in. When they stop them, we got to capitalize. And I think, again, we got to the fourth quarter, which is what we always say. You say you can't win the game in the first, second, and third. We got to the fourth quarter, had a chance to win. They outscored us 10-3, and we got to be able to score touchdowns down in the red zone, and we didn't do that.
The last drive, when you got the ball, it was 6-7 minutes left. Everything went backwards.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the two screens, swing passes?
Well, the first one was a screen, and they sniffed it out. The phasing wasn't very good, so we couldn't get to the corner. The other ones weren't screens. They were check downs. And, this team does a good job of batting the ball, and they did that. But, they played very passive when they got ahead of the sticks, clearance. They played pretty passive on second and third down, so they forced us to check it down, and they took it away.
Let's talk a little bit about that final offensive possession for the Cowboys in the fourth quarter, because it just went backwards. It wasn't efficient. And as much as you can give really flack to the defensive side of the ball and what they did today, the offense had a chance in the fourth quarter, as Schottenheimer said there. They just weren't able to drive it down when they needed to the most.
Yeah, it seemed somehow, some way towards the end of the game, it seemed like Dallas got outside of what they were doing best. They were doing a good job of getting George Pickens the ball in his hand. Ferguson was getting the rock. And then all of a sudden now, as you heard the questions there, you went to the screenplay, and everything seemed to be behind the line of scrimmage. So I understand that coach is saying that there was only one screenplay called, but it seemed as if you had a new playbook towards the end of the game than you did the first three quarters. And I think that's what people are going to question in regards to the play calling.
Let's talk about the offense a little bit. You talked about Pickens. He had an incredible matchup. And when we come back, we're going to hear from George Pickens after a career day. How can this offense continue to carry the load for a Cowboys team that has struggled on the defensive side of the ball? More Cowboys game night after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
George, can you just first and foremost talk about the bittersweetness of having a career game like you did, but not walking out with the win?
Just like disheartening, because I definitely want to get the dub first over anything.
Was there anything that they were showing early on that let you guys pretty much know that you could have a big game like you had this week?
No, not really, but we kind of knew, especially what type of coverages they're going to play, like the cut guys, like the cut overs, lead post hanging, sometimes not cut the overs, you see what I mean? So they're a match team, zone match team. We kind of knew that. We just wanted to execute.
And what do you feel like the message in the locker room needs to be this week? You guys are 2-3-1. You got the Commanders coming over, they're coming at home. Just what needs to be the message?
Definitely finishing. I know I always talk about resiliency, but that's part of finishing. So definitely finishing, yeah.
How much more of a spark would it be? Obviously, it's going to be a spark. But how much more of a spark would it be if CD can get back on the field next week, especially considering that you and Dak have now found complete chemistry?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an increase, you know what I mean? With him coming back with a playmaking ability that he got, it's definitely going to help us, let alone possibly Turb and a lot of other guys, too.
George, what's the frustration level right now? I'm in pretty quiet locker room.
Definitely, after a loss, you never want to lose, especially a game I feel like we know personally that we had. You just got to finish drives. So definitely, like I said, disheartening, I'll probably say.
Isaiah, I put out a post in the middle of the third quarter when this play happened, and then he goes on to have the big touchdown grab, and I said, George Pickens is putting up wide receiver one film, wide receiver one tape, not only just for the Cowboys, but in a contract year for the 31 other NFL teams. And out of the 90-plus replies that I got on X, 85% of those are people saying, well, it doesn't matter if the defense can't get a stop. This offense has been playing at an elite level Can they continue to carry the load if the defense doesn't have a step up on their one side?
I mean, the offense can continue to perform, but as you see, it's not going to result in victories.
Yeah.
So that's what that has to be handled. It's discouraging for an offense and for a head coach, as you guys see, who is responsible for the offense. There's only so much I can carry. There's only so much I can have your back. You see the hesitation in Coach Schottenheimer's responses now, even in the post-game interviews, because he knows, okay, for the most part, we're doing our job. I can't keep covering for the other side of the ball that I'm not responsible for. So that becomes frustrating. And you see this locker room that is very knit tight. He's done a great job of creating this have your back type of environment for the Dallas Cowboys locker room. But after a while, the frustration starts to set in, and that's when you start getting cracks in the foundation.
How much has Pickens added to this offense overall?
Oh, I mean, without Pickens, I don't know what this offense is. Obviously you have Pickens and you have Javonte Williams. Those two have been really good. Javonte was ineffective today. The only person that you had offensively today worth anything outside of the one play to Ferguson was George Pickens. So can you imagine not having him and not having CeeDee Lamb on the field?
Yeah.
It'll be a travesty. So he has carried more than his weight. I mean, you already mentioned career touchdowns for him through the first 6 games.
Yeah.
That's major for somebody who is highly acclaimed as one of the better receivers in the league, one of the big play receivers. At this point, he's on pace for 17 touchdowns. That's wild to say.
And, of course, those touchdowns, all 6 of them have come in the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a touchdown streak now and a streak of 5 games with at least 50 yards receiving and a touchdown in the last 5 contests. Only 2 players, Des Bryant and one other player in Terrell Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2 in Cowboys history to ever have a longer streak in their career. So George Pickens doing some incredible things for the most part. When we come back, what kind of lessons did Isaiah Stanback learn about this Cowboys team? He's going to give one thing to look forward to going into Week 7 against the Washington Commanders.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Back here on Cowboys Game Night, wrapping up the Week 6 loss to the Carolina Panthers alongside Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Youmans. All right, Isaiah, give it to us. What do the Cowboys need to fix? What did you learn about this Cowboys team going into that Week 7 matchup with the Commanders that at least has a lot on the line for the Cowboys now this week?
We have learned that the Dallas Cowboys are consistently inconsistent. Offense has been very consistent. Defense has been very inconsistent. Special teams hasn't necessarily been given a chance, at least in this game, to give yourself an opportunity. They were taking away opportunities by going for it on 4th down. So Dallas Cowboys have been consistently inconsistent, and you cannot have 1/3 of the game carrying the backpack for the other 2/3. They got to figure that out.
And that's the thing. You got to piece it all together. They did so in Week 5. Can they do it again against the Commanders team that has a chance now with Philadelphia's loss this past week and a win for Washington on Monday Night Football this week? They could be possibly playing for the top spot in the division.
You're absolutely correct. They have to figure this out quickly. And I can't stress it enough, the schedule that the Dallas Cowboys have. There's nobody that you should circle on your schedule to say, oh, this is going to be an easy win. But there are easier opponents, and that's just the reality of the fact. Dallas, you've bypassed the easy part of your schedule. Yeah. Everything else, better buckle up.
Well, you even look over your left shoulder there. You've got a schedule there on the back monitor, and it doesn't get much easier with Washington, Denver, Arizona, then the bye week. And then after the bye week, it gets a little bit crazier as we go on. That's going to do it for us here on Cowboys Game Night. Thanks for joining us as the Cowboys fall in Week 6, 30-27, the final score. For Isaiah Stanback and our entire Dallas Cowboys crew, I'm Kyle Youmans saying we'll see you next week with more Cowboys Game Night.